Hi guys, Marvin Kid here, coming to you again. How's everybody doing? Apologize for the lateness for this, but of course, as always, I'm here to kind of give my thoughts, uh, recap slash review on the next two episodes of Legend of Korra. Apologize for not doing last week's episodes, but pretty much friends like Mr. J and uh, Comic Uno, they summed it up pretty much as what I would have summed it up. But for this week's episodes, like I said, they're doing two episodes a pop now, and because like I said, this season change wraps up next month. The season finale is next month, from what I'm hearing, August 8th, if I'm not mistaken. So they're wrapping this up really quick. But this episode was really good, especially the episode entitled "Old Wounds." We got to see some really intense um, intensity in this episode in terms of between Lin and her half sister, her sister Su Yin, and we get to see kind of in a sense where this grudge, this animosity comes from between them, and it was really interesting. The funniest thing about I found out about Lin, who voices the character, is the actress who played Frau from the Austin Powers series. I was like, whoa, that's her. I was like, wow, that's interesting to hear that. Um, but in this episode, we see pretty much what happened after the last episode of where Lynn just pretty much berated her niece Opal and just left her crying, and it was just like, you look at that, you're like, Lynn, like, what the hell is your problem? So in this episode, we get to see some things. Lynn goes in for acupuncture and things like that, almost to cleanse her chi, which is really cool. I love that, once again, showcasing the the Oriental Asian feel to Avatar, which I've always loved, and we get to see that she's we could see some backstory between them. How growing up, yeah, they were always. Lin was a little older, while Su Yin pretty much did her own thing. She was hanging out with a rough crowd, people like that. While Lin was in the cop, she became a cop and things like that. And we get to see like Lin's trying to tell her, excuse me, Su Yun, why are you hanging out with these guys? They're bad influences, things like that. And Su Yun is like, well, I can do what I want, and it keeps going from there and there, and it gets to the point where we see what happened, where Lin got the scars from. We see when Lin was trying to apprehend some thieves, in a car chase, she finally figured out who is in it, and it turns out to be Su Yin. And when Lin tries to tell her you're not going, some bad things happen between them in terms of, Lin basically injects her, the cords out of her, and Su Yin cuts it, and it comes back at her, cuts her, and I was like, oh, it was like, ooh, that's where we were always wondering where she got the scar from, where we finally get to see. And it was there where we also get to see Toph and how she's going to deal with this. What does she do? She's the chief of police, so how does she do it? Does she keep going, or does she sweep it under the rug? And we kind of see that she kind of does that. And once again, that's where we kind of see where the animosity is like, okay, so Su Yin does something bad, but you sweep it under like nothing ever happened. Um, and Su Yin goes to live with her grandparents, and it was just like, and you can see where Lin had a problem, and then that goes back to the present. We see a little bit of a battle between them, where you know Lin and Su Yin have this battle while she's training Korra in metal bending, and later on, uh, she trains Mako. Uh, No, not Mako. I'm always forgetting the damn names of the two brothers. Uh, oh crap! I apologize. I'm always forgetting the two. You know, the Earth brother, the Earth bending brother. Correct me, guys, on that, guys. I'm Bolin. Thank you, Malcolm. Bolin. Um, and Lynn comes in and she just is like they just have this battle, and it was. I love the fact that it was stopped. It wasn't stopped by the by. It wasn't stopped by uh Suyin's sons. It was stopped by Opal, and I liked that. I thought that was really good that Opal stopped, and she came in and she's like you two are sisters and things like that. We shouldn't be fighting, and you know it. And of course, Lynn passes back out from her ordeal because she was out of it anyway, and I really liked that. I thought that was really cool that it was Opal who stopped him, and when she stopped it, she stopped the fighting between them, and we saw like in a sense we saw some some closure between the sisters. In a sense, we saw some closure. We also saw Lynn embracing her niece, which I like. That was really touching to me. Really got to see you know, Lynn telling Opal like, look, you know, when I was your age, you know, I wanted to be a cop just like my mother, like your grandmother. You know, I wanted to follow all in her footsteps. Maybe it's time that you follow in your own footsteps. And we see a happy embrace between them. And we kind of saw, like I said, some closure between the sisters. Like she's telling, you know, Lynn, like, look, I really want you in my life. Like I want you around, and I'll set you up, you know. And Lynn's like, whoa, whoa, let's do this slow. I'll come around, but not in a surprising way. Deal. I thought that was well done. Um, and we move on to the next episode, which was episode 33, or episode 7 for season 3, entitled "The Original Airbenders." And pretty much, even before that, that's where we got to see that Zahir and his crew are pretty much, even in Old Wounds, we got to see that uh, we got to see that they're getting closer. The prisoners are getting closer to uh, Korra. But in this episode, we see they're at the Northern Air Temple, guys, and we're getting to see that basically uh, Tenzin is having a lot of trouble with the new Airbenders. Like he's going into very detail about the history of the Airbenders, you know, the air nomads and everything like that. And as we all know, sometimes as new recruits, young, you know, the young don't want to really hear all that. They want to just go right to, let's get to training. And we kind of see that in them. And he's just like, I'm not getting through to them. Janora is kind of having a little friction with her dad in terms of like, I'm older, you know, the typical teenage rebellious attitude. Like, I'm not a kid anymore. Let me get my air temple tattoos. She wants to get her tattoos and things like that. And we're seeing also a little bit of once again some more beef between, you know, the brothers, Tenzin and his, you know, which is interesting. And Korra kind of gives Tenzin a little bit of a she calls him on the radio and she kind of gives Tenzin a little bit of advice, like go to um, go to Boomy go to Boomy and like tell him like, look, I need your help. How do I do this? Because you know he's been in the army, and Boomy kind of gives him some advice, and so Tenzin says, okay, I'm gonna do that. And so he has this more militant attitude now with the air benders, and he's like, you know, do this and do that, and they're just like, oh, I can't, oh, this is, you know, and Boomy just literally quits. He's like, I can't do this, and you know, Kai kind of is, you know, telling, you know, Janor, you know, to do this and do that. Let's go out, and you know, you're seeing a little bit more of that, a little bit more relationship between Janor and we also get to see we have some bison rustlers, you know, like poachers in a sense, and what they do is they capture the air bisons and bring them back to the Earth Queen so she can eat them. And it's like, and it's literally there where we get to see that the Earth Queen is rumored. They even say it that she even killed her father's bear, the little bear that was with her. And I'm like, oh God, like, you know, so, and it becomes more of a sense of we get to see the in a sense it was really straightforward. The Airbenders start to realize that, you know, maybe all this teaching that Tenzin is teaching us and things like that is helpful, and they are able to stop the bison rustlers and things like that, which is really cool. You know, we get like like one of the Airbenders is like, if I didn't have my hair cut bald, I would have never sensed the guys approaching me and things like that. It was really cool. I was like, that's funny. And you know, we get to see some once again a lot of closure here in these episodes between siblings. Like we get to see that Boomy, he kind of looks at himself like he never looked at himself as being one of Aang's children. Like, you know, you got Tenzin and, you know, uh, the daughter, I'm forgetting her name. Apologize, guys. They kind of stood out. They were the benders and things like that. Well, Boomy, he felt like he didn't belong in a sense, and it was kind of interesting to see that. But a lot of closure, like the siblings kind of realizing, like, you know what, okay, yeah. But the one thing I also take from this episode is like the original gang of the last air, the Avatar, you know, they weren't good parents so far. We've seen they're not as good parents as we thought. I mean, look at Toph. She she kind of look how she raised Lin and Su Yin, and with Aang, you know, it must have been tough. So you know, we're seeing that, and I'm glad that they're showing that. Like it wasn't just all peaches and cream between, you know, the kids of the original gang, and I like that. Uh, but other than that, these episodes were really good. Very emotional. We got to see like some closure between some of the siblings. Looking forward to next week with the next episodes, to see where they go from there. Will the prisoners catch up to Korra, because she knows, because they know where Korra is. They literally said it at the end. They were like, she's with the Steel Clan, and it was like, and it was almost like, it's like, how is this guy knowing this stuff? Um, and it also gives a sense of like, what do they want from Korra? What do they want? And people, it seems like people might get hurt, or things are gonna get bleak for the gang. But other than that, you guys tell me what you thought about these two episodes. Did you like them? Did you hate them? Did you like what they showed in terms of the closure of the siblings, as well as how we got to see where Lin got the scar from? But other than that, you guys take care. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with another recap/review for Legends of Korra Season 3, known as Change. You guys take care.